Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. I gotta sit there and say, for the most part, this was a really good episode. But I gotta sit there and get to a part where I would sit there and say it definitely bothers me. It definitely bothers me. Because I'm trying to be as sensitive as I can because the idea of I understand the idea of emotionally abusive, right? I get that. But there's a fine line between being emotionally abused and just being manipulated because, well, you're stupid. And what I'm not feeling right now, because at first Melinda was going to sit there and throw the book at her, but then, she read the letter that Marlena wrote about her being emotionally abused, and it changed her perspective. She thought about the time where she had to deal with something like that. Now, granted, I didn't watch it back then, so I don't know the full extent of what this guy was doing to her. But from the way that she made it sound, it was like she was fearful. She talked about how she didn't want this guy to know that she had a daughter. But it was more of a fear thing, like if he found out, he was going to physically do something to her. As opposed to him, Colin, who practically just played her like a fiddle. Played her like she was just, I don't know, she was just born yesterday or something. You know? And I feel like it was just more of a fact that he just manipulated her. But for some odd reason, this is what they're going to sit there and use to get her out of all this legal trouble. And that's what they wound up doing. She just wound up pretty much getting a slap on the wrist. After Melinda was like, I could have died. She considers herself in good shape. Imagine somebody who was older or who wasn't in good shape. They could have died. But I don't know. It's just something that it bothers me that that's the route that they chose to go. Because I didn't sit there, I didn't see it that way. I saw it as, oh, if you really love me, you'll sit there and do this. And, I just really want to be with you. And, he was constantly sitting there, making out with her and seducing her and stuff like that. So I felt like it was more of him manipulating her rather than him emotionally abusing her. All he kept saying was, okay, fine, you don't get it, you don't understand. And that's not the same thing as him saying, well, if we don't do this, or else. So it just, I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I never liked this character since day one. And so this is just. I knew they were going to do this. I knew they were going to sit there and try to find a way to sit there and redeem her. And if they want to go that route, fine. Whatever. But I don't know. Her character just really doesn't work for me. It didn't work for me from since day one, since they decided, oh, let's make her a doctor because why not? It just made her an astronaut at this point. So now you got fake Paulina, Whitney, bringing in fake Theo. I swear at this point, this is the part of me when I'm watching this that just feels like it's a comedy. And I know a lot of people are they're looking at this scene, this storyline, and they're like, oh, it's just taking forever, it's dragging on. But the one thing I do like about it is getting him actually doing stuff. Listen, anytime they get sit there and get this guy Abe doing something in a really good story, I'm with it, right? So she gets fake Theo, whatever his name is, and at first he's not with it, but then she's all like, "Oh, you remember that time that I helped your grandma out where she didn't have insurance? So you owe me. Also, I'll sit you and out you to your other acting buddies. So you got to do this, and I already paid you money." And so you're like, "All right, fine, I'll do it." But she also got a call from Eli. She went down there um, while fake Theo was talking to Abe. Now, during this conversation, you know, he seemed like he's getting lightheaded and he wants to sit there and lay down. And fake Theo, because I'm just calling fake Theo at this point, because I remember his name. It's like, oh, do you have anything that you can walk with, like a cane or anything like that? And this is where he remembers his son giving him a cane, um, the day of their wedding, of him and Paulina's wedding. So you got that whole thing going. And now his memory is really starting to jog, coming back. So, fake Paulina, Whitney, goes down to the police station, talks to real Theo. This is so stupid. Talks to Theo, and Theo's like, hey, listen, I'm not gonna give up and find my dad. But also, he looked at her like, yo, you seem like you're kind of nervous, like you're kind of anxious. And I couldn't help but notice that he looked at her ring, like, this looks kind of familiar. He didn't say that, but I'm sneaking thinking maybe he noticed that. So she goes in there to talk to Eli, right? And he was like, well, I want to sit there and talk to you again because Eli came there. They were looking at this stuff for hours. And sometimes a fresh pair of eyes really does help out. I mean, Jada and Ray. When he looked at the file, there was some stuff that didn't make a lot of sense. He sat her down and he was like, yeah, but the thing is, you left work early. At first, she was acting like she didn't want to come down there. And she was all like, oh, my cat is sick. Oh, it's fine. I don't want you coming to me. I'll, I'll get somebody to watch him. So she goes down there. He's like, well, you left work early. And she was like, oh, well, I was really feeling sick and stuff. I wasn't really feeling too good. And he was like, well, you didn't put that in the report. And she was like, oh, I just didn't really see the point of it. He was like, yeah, but that's not for you to decide on what's important, what's not important. So he gets a phone call. And he's like, when I get back, you're going to sit there and tell me everything. And I mean everything from the beginning. So when he leaves to go take his phone call, she's like, well, that's it. Abe has to die. And I'm just like, what cartoonist bullshit? I'm like, all right, you know what? Up until this point, a little fun little ride. Now she's all like, oh, I'm going to sit there and kill him because he's causing too much trouble. And I'm just like, and we still don't even know this woman's motive. Again, I'm simply thinking Misery. We watched Misery, and I've only heard about it, and I know the motive as far as like her being really obsessed with this writer or whatever. Except it's a little bit different. I don't actually have to watch the movie, but I feel that's why I always sit there and say it's sort of like Misery. Um, you got that. You got Eli that spotted Jada and Rafe, holding hands and the connection and the chemistry and just the, just the whatever's in the air. It definitely hit him. So she leaves because they've been at it all night. And he was like, yo, listen, why don't you sit there and be with her? And he was like, oh, well, I can't because, department regulations and stuff. And so he was like, well, I got really terrible luck with women. Meanwhile, you got Kate that they're giving Jada a similar conversation and stuff. She's like, just go for it. The hell with the regulations. At first I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Lady, we are not snitching trying to get this fine ass woman fired, okay? But she pretty much is like, listen, you can sit there and cut down on a PDA when you're at work. When you're out of work, y'all do whatever y'all do behind closed doors. But, just life is too short. And so she's like, yeah. And at some point, Rafe gets good news about Talia, um, being set free. So he comes on the door. He comes to her house. He knocks on the door. This chick is in a towel. This woman's in a towel, and I'm just like, hmm. So that was a scene. You got that going on. You got Paulina asking Chanel because now that she got her job back and she's looking, to hire people. Which, let's be honest, she's probably going to sit there and wind up hiring Talia at some point. Paulina asked her, "Can you forgive her? Can you sit there and like really put this stuff, and like, could you actually forgive her?" And at first, she was sitting there really talking bad about her, talking about, oh, well, she's just trying to do this for clout or whatever. But did she realize, like, um, she started talking about some nice stuff about her and started talking about the stuff that she went through. with the whole emotional abuse thing. Cynthia was saying that, it's the same thing with Mama and what she had to go through and so forth and so on. So, she's starting to sit there and look at the situation a little bit differently, which I've already kind of went about that verbatim, so I'm not going to really kind of backtrack on that or go back to it. But, she's starting to sit there and say in a different light to some extent, realizing that she was the victim. Um, so, they had to sit there and find some sort of way to redeem her, and this is the route that they're choosing to go. So now, just to be fair, I could be totally wrong about this. But this is just my feelings as far as what I saw. You know, I just, I have a problem with it. I really do. I have a problem with it, but yeah. I'm not gonna lie. See, this part is a little bit kind of tough to sit there and talk about when you talk about what's going on with Talia and everything like that, and how she is, you know, the whole thing with Colin and stuff. And it's the same thing when I talk about YNR and I talk about Sally and Adam and the baby and this choice that he made, and it's a very sensitive topic. And one of the things I've realized that even after doing this video and doing the YNR video is that I can sit there and try to be as sensitive as I can possibly be about these subject matters. But, I've realized that somebody at some point is probably going to sit there and getting offended, even with the best of intentions. So that's just, unfortunately, that's just what it is. But I like to sit there and think that people who watch my videos kind of know about me and know my heart and stuff like that. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Stay safe. I feel like there's something else, but I can't really think of what it is. So, missed anything, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and go over all of it. And, yeah. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.